Ever notice how some people seem to be unshakable when life hits hard, while others spiral at the first setback? The difference isn't luck, it's mindset. In the past, my life was a mess. I was avoiding challenges at any cost, no matter what. Okay? But at some point, my health was so shitty and my self-esteem I felt like I had no other choice rather than to face it. So I started with very small steps at the start. But one day I have got so much of the compound effect, so much momentum, that I started to see the challenges as opportunities. And I integrated a lot of the other lessons that I will talk about in this video. And since then, my life has become better at least tenfold, and my health has improved massively. Here's a small definition about what resilience is. Resilience is not about acting tough or suppressing emotions or denying them, okay? It's more the ability to feel, to adapt, and come back stronger, okay? So that you have to suppress your emotions. This is a move, okay? You don't have to suppress your emotions. This has nothing to do with resilience, okay? It's more like acknowledging your emotions. So you see, yes, they are here, but you also don't become a victim of them. So you don't let your emotions rule you either. So you're neither controlled by them, but you neither suppress them either, okay? You just acknowledge them as they are. Okay, so what is the foundation? What is the biggest factor for emotional resilience? So when I noticed one thing about my clients is the factor that helps them the most and that we start with is always self-awareness. Because when I think consciously, when I'm conscious, this is when I can decide how to think about myself. And this is when I also realize what happens to me actually right now. Do I beat myself up? Or do I do something else? So once I become conscious, I can decide what I do about that, what I do with my inner world, right? That means the amount of consciousness that you have towards yourself, okay, plays a huge role in how far you can develop emotional resilience and also self-esteem. So this is the biggest factor. When I mean self-awareness, I mean also in a way, of course, like through journaling. For example, I journal a lot, and then what I do is I write down at the end of the day what were my wins and what did I learn and how, right? What did I learn? How can I improve? Especially what were my wins and how can I improve? Okay, so I consciously think about my own behavior, right? And the other thing is simply meditation, mindfulness and meditation. So Zen masters have a lot of emotional resilience because they are so rooted in the now. They are so rooted in this, with the universe. They are so one with the universe. Okay, so this resilience plays a huge factor. It will become so much stronger when you combine it with consciousness, with mindfulness. And another factor that I want to tell you is you need to start to see problems as opportunities, or more like challenges that offer opportunities, right? So back then I was seeing problems like something that is bad, that should not happen, right? And the funny thing is, we humans, we have a lot of problems, right? We have, so what I want to say is everyone has challenges or something. Life throws at you something, right? And it's not always wise to completely ignore it. So I was seeing back then things as completely as problems, in a way where this is something I don't want to have it. I just want to push it away. And nowadays I see it as a challenge. That means I like that because I like challenges. So this is an opportunity to grow for you. It's a test. Okay, if you can overcome this test, you will rise to the next level. One of the most important parts to understand emotional resilience is you need to be able to deal with emotions rather than suppress them. So how does that look like? So you know that you can deal with emotions when you're aware of them, but you are neither attached to them, so you're not becoming crazy after pleasure, like dopamine clicking, but you're also not avoidant, like they don't matter and you just ignore all of them. So what I recommend, I also recommend that with my clients, I work with many men where I help them to direct them to find their purpose, improve their self-esteem, their masculinity, and their health. Okay, so one thing you can do is simply to acknowledge this emotion by saying, okay, I feel this. Let's say you feel stress, I feel stress, or I feel frustration, but you are not this feeling. So you don't say, I am this way. You don't say, I am angry. I just feel this. You just experience that. That's all. And then you just breathe into it. You allow it to feel fully, to accept it. Okay, to consciously experience it rather than putting it away. This is one of the most important parts. So just accept it as it is. Don't try at the start to change something about it. This part comes later after the acceptance. So you first accept it as it is. You don't resist it anymore. And after that, now you can decide, for example, to reframe it like, yeah, this will make me stronger. It doesn't play a role how things happen. I get stronger, right? So another thing that can help you a lot is simply to improve your inner voice, right? And this plays a huge role. Everyone knows it, especially pro athletes. You have heard it probably so many times. They have a really good inner voice, right? And what I recommend you to do is you ask yourself, okay, how would my ideal self talk, like the version in 1 year? And what you do is you make yourself an audio. You simply need an app that is capable of recording your voice. And then you make yourself an audio and you play it at night for maybe like 20 or 30 minutes. So when you go to bed. Okay. And at night, your subconscious is the most open. So this will become one day your inner voice if you play it repeatedly. I recommend you to play it for a very long period of time, at least 30 days, if possible, way longer, to be honest. Okay? Because then you will notice it starts to become a part of your inner voice, how you are. Just ask yourself how your ideal self talks, and talk yourself in the present, okay? Like that. Talk to yourself in this recording like that, like you're already this person. Not like you will become like that in the future, but like you're already now like that. In best case of I statements. With I statements like, okay, I am this kind of person. I am this kind of person who can deal with challenges, or I am a confident person. Okay? Now, if you are interested as a man to improve your emotional resilience even further, to find your purpose, direction in life, or just to improve your masculinity and your health area, then you can click on the link down below and we will together get a discovery call where I can help you to get to the next level and where we can see whether you're the right fit for my program. The last step that I want to tell you about emotional resilience has to do with focusing on the process. A lot of people that have a lot of resilience, they are capable of focusing on the process. And what holds one back from the process are expectations. Okay? So that means, for example, when you do something, when you do already something, you have very often expectations of things can turn out or how you should actually perform or act. And this separates you from the process. So the more expectations you have, the more you will separate from the process and you will get frustrated about the outcome. So a mindset that you can use is before you start activity, consciously choose your mental intention and just think consciously, no matter the outcome, I will be okay with it. So no matter how the outcome will be, you'll be okay with it, whatever comes out. Okay? If you have really a lot of expectations, don't forget expectations are at the end also just emotions. Many people don't know that. And what you can do is also just breathe into them. Okay? So if you have really a lot of expectations, you can also just breathe into them and feel them. Allow this emotion to exist. Because then at one point, if you have accepted it enough, it will just fade away. It will just fade away and it will become normal for you to focus on the process. And this is how you become emotionally resilient. Okay? I hope this video helped you. And comment below, okay, what is something that you did in the past that helped you to become more emotionally resilient? Or what is your lesson? What helped you from this video to help to become more emotionally resilient? And see you next time.